Okay, homework 4 is on the unit circle. So we've got a couple of these just about signs, positive and negative. So let's look at question number 1. Which trig functions are positive for angles terminating in quadrant 4? Okay, so which trig functions are positive? So over in the fourth quadrant, your x values are positive. So when only your x values are positive, that means that nothing else can be positive. So our trig functions, we've got cosine of theta is going to be positive, and then the reciprocals always carry the same sign. So if the reciprocals carry the same sign, then the secant would come out to be positive as well. Okay, so a couple more of those just like that. So now these, we are using some reference angles to find these values right here. So I'm just going to pick a couple of these to do. So there's a 3-step process of using reference angles to find trig functions. So this doesn't need a reference angle, so let's pick a couple that do. We'll do 8 and 9. So cosine of 225, if you want to sketch it out, and then that way you get a good idea of where it actually is. So 225 is in the third quadrant, so 225 minus 180 would be 45 degrees. So the reference angle is 45 degrees. You find that first. Step 2, identify the trig function for the reference angle. So we want to identify cosine of 45 degrees. So that value is the square root of 2 over 2. So we should know those first quadrant values at least. So the cosine of 45 degrees, the square root of 2 over 2. Step 3 is adjust the sign if needed. So 225 is in the third quadrant. Cosine in the third quadrant is negative, so you do need to adjust that sign. All right, let's do number 9 as well. 330 is in the fourth quadrant. So for the fourth quadrant reference angle, we do 360 minus 330. So that reference angle would be 30 degrees. And then step 2, identify the trig function for the reference angle. So find the tangent of 30 degrees. Tangent of 30 degrees, remember tangent is just a little bit trickier. 30 degrees, you've got a sine of 1/2, and then you have a cosine of root 3 over 2. Okay, so if you're looking for the tangent at that point, remember that is the sine divided by the cosine. So that ends up being 1 over root 3, which we rationalize to root 3 over 3. So our answer is root 3 over 3. And then step 3 is adjust the sign if needed. So when we're down in the fourth quadrant, where we're at with 330 degrees, sine is negative, cosine is positive, so this does end up being a negative value. Okay, and the rest of them you follow that same 3-step process.